Let's talk 15 completed duologies and romantic fantasy standalones, because sometimes you just want something that's quick and easy, and I feel you. So let's get into it. Let's start off with the duologies. I love a completed duology, and these are some of my favorites. Starting off strong, we have the Bridge Kingdom duology. This is part of an interconnected series of duologies, but the Bridge Kingdom itself was absolutely perfection. Okay, this follows an assassin FMC who is in an arranged marriage, and there's a lot of political intrigue, and she's sent to go kill the guy that she is in this marriage with. What more could you ask for? That is how I love a book to start, and this duology will keep you hooked with an FMC that will be one of your favorite FMCs, especially if you are an Aelin Galathinius fan. Then I definitely think you'll like this FMC because she thinks things through. She's a smart girl. Now, for my Twilight girls, let's get into The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which is also part of an interconnected series of duologies. But the first one is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and this is vampires, ladies, and it is done so well. It's got like a dark gothic atmosphere to it, and it is beautiful. This one follows the daughter of like the vampire king who is human, and then she enters these like deadly vampire competitive trials, and she needs to pair up with an enemy kingdom's vampire in order to survive these trials, or she'd be long gone. And who other than the sexy vampire to help her get through it with a slow burn. This one is action packed and delectable. The Peaches and Honey duology, this is absolutely beautiful. It is poetic, and it is a I would love you across any lifetimes kind of story. I thought it was absolutely beautifully written, and it follows through like these historical elements where we're seeing some of the worst possible parts of human history, but you've got an immortal going through it and at the forefront of it, and there's this sizzling slow burn romance between these immortals that is spanning over decades. The Crimson Moth duology, starting with Heartless Hunter, was absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorite duologies, especially for the yearners out there. Now, this one is considered YA, though I don't think it technically should be labeled YA. Now, it does have like some fade to black scenes, but it is not explicitly spicy. But I still think if you love romantic fantasy in general, you should just read this one, because the yearning and the tension and the cat and mouse games are beautiful. This has a cat and mouse game between a witch and a witch hunter, where the whole time they're like fake dating, and he doesn't know she's the witch, but he has his suspicions, and she knows he's a witch hunter, and there's like this whole like back and forth at play here, and it is just beautifully done. Now, one of my favorite romantasy duologies is the Shepherd King duology by Rachel Gillig. She's one of my favorite authors, an auto-buy author, and if you haven't read this one yet, then this is the one that I say drop everything and pick this one up, because it is a masterpiece. All right, One Dark Window is dark gothic, and it has this like nightmare card that's living in Elspeth, our FMC's head, and their relationship is super interesting, and it's a cool dynamic because you're getting them having conversations in first person in her mind, and it's just done so well. This one also has a slow burn romance, and this is lower on the spice scale, but it is just perfection. This one had a really unique magic system with these magical cards. So basically, when you pick up these cards, you can use the magic from them as long as you got the card on you. But if you use it too long, then there are consequences, okay? Elspeth, on the other hand, absorbs these cards, so she can't actually use them, and that's how she ended up with the nightmare in her mind. She picked up the nightmare card, he got in there, and now they're in some shit. But there is political intrigue because the guy ruling right now is no good. So these cards are huge in the storyline, and it's fantastic. A Fate Inked in Blood is by the same author who wrote the Bridge Kingdom duology. Now, I do think you should start with the Bridge Kingdom duology. That is my preferred duology out of her work, but A Fate Inked in Blood is a lot of fun as well. This one is Vikings and magic, and it does have unique magic systems, and it does have a lot of Viking lore throughout it that I thought was really, really intriguing, okay? And the romance in it is banter for days, you guys. The back and forth between our FMC and our MMC is really engaging, and I thought that this was like a damn good time read. If you're wanting something that is just going to make you happy and be easy to read, then I think this duology is going to do it for you, with like these cool Viking elements to it and a badass FMC. The Umber King, this is a duology that takes a trip to the darker side. This one follows an FMC who is on a bit of a murder spree at the beginning. It dives right into that because she is upset. Her twin has been killed previously, and she is out for revenge and trying to find who did it. Now, in this magical world, They do have a prison realm. Yes, ladies, a prison realm. That was what sold me on this book because I haven't heard anything like it. And the prison realm is a really cool aspect. If you get sentenced there, you go there, you make all these connections, and then when you leave, you forget them all right? But who other than the prison realm's ruler is our FMC interested in? So yes, ladies, this is a romance worth your time. We've got shadow magic, and those shadows get put to work. So our FMC gets sentenced to this prison realm, and that's where she meets the ruler of it, the Umbra King. The Umbra King, ladies. And that romance is hot. Now, I love a good standalone, so let's jump into some romantic fantasy standalones that I think you should definitely pick up. Throne of the Fallen is one of my favorite standalone series to recommend. I think it is done beautifully. It gives you a Bridgerton vibe mixed with the Seven Deadly Sins and the Princes of Hell. Each Prince of Hell represents a different sin, and this one follows the Prince of Envy and his relationship with our FMC Camilla, and they're in like this Bridgerton-esque environment, and then he takes her down into the seven circles of hell, and they're playing like this game because he wagered into like this kind of crazy game, and they're going through the circles, and it's really interesting. And the tension in this one, you guys, you could cut it with a knife. They do a great job of making this one super spicy, but the build up to it gives you the feeling of a slow burn, well, in a standalone that then gets heated. Now, this is part of an interconnected series of standalones, and one of her newest ones came out recently that follows the Prince of Sloth. And I am very, very interested in that one because you do get to see this Prince of Hell in this book for a little snippet, and I found him very interesting, and that is on my March hopefuls because me and my TBR are at war with each other, and I can't say it's for sure going to get read in March, but it will get read soon because I really do love the writing that she does, and her standalones are beautiful. The Poison Daughter. This is one of the best spicy books I've read recently, and it is done fantastically. Okay, the FMC in this has the kiss of death, a poisonous kiss where anyone she kisses, they die. She's kind of got like a venomous kiss to her. But then she ends up in her second arranged marriage because she killed her first arranged marriage, and she's part of a really messed up family where they're like kind of ruling their own society, but then there's like these kind of like vampire creatures outside of their walls, and they thought the town over had been swiped out, all right? And that town thought they had screwed them over, and now they're like, well, let's create like an arranged marriage with our daughter who recently killed her husband, though they don't know that, to then kind of bridge the gap between them. She goes off with this MMC, and now they're in this arranged marriage, and there's this back and forth, and the tension is great with a marriage ceremony that will have your jaw on the floor, ladies. All right. The Scattered Bones is a standalone that will make your heart ache because the FMC in this is going across the world gathering her dead lover's bones. Well, you're getting flashbacks to how the hell did we end up here? And why did we end up here? And you're aching for her because she's kind of going through this mourning process, and she's got this like person that's with her along the way and kind of helping her out in a sense. But the flashbacks are great, and they show how they fell in love, and it was a forbidden love, and that does play into his whole demise, I guess. But this one is definitely worth your time, and that's all I'm going to say on it because I don't want to spoil it, but it is one of my favorite standalones, and it does have that like kind of gothic atmosphere to it as well, and it just makes your heart ache. So if you're kind of psychotic like me and love to give yourself a little bit of suffering, then definitely pick up The Scattered Bones. The Everlasting. This was a goddamn masterpiece, one of the best standalones I've read, and one of the best books I've read of 2026 so far. This has a knight and a scholar, but we are flipping it, ladies, because the knight is the FMC, and she is badass. She has all these like lore written about her, taking out like armies, and is just like, she's incredible. And then you have the scholar, who is your nerdy MMC. So I like that kind of flip on it. Instead of getting like these broody, morally gray MMCs, you got like this gentle, sweet, nerdy MMC that is absolutely obsessed with the FMC, as he should be, ladies. This has like time travel aspects to it that I thought were interwoven very beautifully. And at first you're going to be like, what the hell's going on here? Let it cook, all right? Because everything ties together beautifully, and it is written so well. And the time travel aspects actually aren't super confusing. At the beginning, you're going to be like, whoa, wait. And I'm telling you, just be patient. You will get your answers, and you'll finish it and be, masterpiece, all right? Amid Clouds and Bones. This is another spicy, spicy, spicy standalone that is more for a good time. All right. It is quick and it is easy and it is a true enemies to lovers situation and definitely not a slow burn. Things get kind of straight to it. This is definitely not a slow burn, but they definitely hate each other and literally try to kill each other in the beginning when they find out that they will be in an arranged marriage together. They have the Fae side and the human side, and the MMC in this is like, hell no, I'm not marrying her. Tries to take her out, doesn't work out. He does eventually marry her, and things get pretty heated, all right? Very fun. Nocticadia. This is another one of my favorite standalones that I recommend a lot. It has a dark academia setting with a professor and student relationship, and the MMC in this is referred to as Dr. Death, all right? Yes. Yes. You will enjoy this one. The FMC in this had me screaming at moments. There are some things that go down where you're like, no, she didn't do that. She didn't do that. And if you've read this one, you know exactly the moment I'm talking about. It involves a phone and a certain professor seeing something on her phone, and I was actually sweating. It is done so well, and there are these murder mystery elements to it. The FMC is trying to find out what happened to her mom. Involves worms. Yes, I did say worms, but there is like these mystery elements, and she's like, what the hell happened to my mother? People have told her she was crazy and that there was no worm shit going on. But then she goes to this university, works with Dr. Death at his midnight lab, and things get heated. This one's definitely very spicy and a lot of tension. Phantasma and Enchantra. These ones I'm counting as one because they are interconnected standalones set in the same world. Phantasma is part of interconnected standalones, with the second book being Enchantra, though that is its own story following Ophelia's sister from Phantasma when she goes on her own quest and meets her own man. But Phantasma was my favorite of the two, and this one follows Ophelia. She goes into like this devil's mansion and goes through these trials, and there's this phantom that's kind of helping her out along the way and helping her out in many ways, ladies. This is another standalone that is spicy, 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 but I thought it was a ton of fun, and I think if you're ready for just a good time read, then this is definitely the one for you. I thought it was super enjoyable. I really liked Enchantra as well, and I think the romances are right at the forefront of the story. So if you're wanting a romance heavy standalone with interesting like trials and a darker atmosphere, then this is definitely your book. Thank you for watching once again, and I hope your TBR is absolutely slammed full with duologies and standalones that you can just be banging through, and I hope you love these recs as much as I do. And if you have read any of these, let me know in the comments which ones were your favorites, and if you have any duologies or standalones that I didn't cover that you think I should read, let me know as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and make sure you like and subscribe because I'm back every week, baby.